years ago on June 4th, tanks rolled into Tiananmen Square in Beijing, crushing pro-democracy protesters. Those images indelible to scores of protesters here in Chinatown today as they marched for human rights 5 days early. The protesters said they will never forget the massacre of 1989. One organizer, in fact, recounting the communist government's denials and arrests after that fateful night 20 years ago.
After that night, the government has been doing horrible things, doing house arrests to a lot of students, leaders, and also their families, and also anyone that involved with the movement.
On the 20th anniversary of the massacre next Thursday, tens of thousands of Chinese and their supporters around the world are expected to attend candlelight vigils for the victims.
20 years ago tonight, hopes for democracy in China died in a hail of bullets in Tiananmen Square. No one really knows how many people were killed, but they are not forgotten. KCAL9's Sharon Tay is live at a vigil for the victims at the Chinese Consulate. Sharon?
Yeah, Rick, that vigil has just ended, and as you can see, the cleanup is underway. About 200 Chinese attended this event to honor the legacy of the Tiananmen Square Massacre 20 years ago. Through music and art, Southern California Chinese remember the Tiananmen Square Massacre. This woman survived the 1989 incident, and she's still fighting for democracy in China.
To try to keep contact with people inside China who are fighting for their rights.
Chinese immigrants here value freedom.
They can fulfill their dreams. They can go to school.
The memory of the massacre will forever be embedded in this community, since so many Chinese pro-democracy protesters died. This image became symbolic of courage. 20 years later, Southern California Chinese are honoring those who gave their lives for freedom.
We believe that demands they made are also unfulfilled. The pursuit of democracy, human rights, freedom of speech.
The Tiananmen Square Massacre may have happened 20 years ago, but the country's pro-democracy movement is still rallying support in communities abroad. And many of the Chinese who live here in Southern California still believe that China will one day become a democracy. Live in Los Angeles, I'm Sharon Tay, KCAL9 News, now back to the studio.
All right, thanks. This was the scene tonight as about 200 people demonstrated outside China's consulate in Koreatown on the 20th anniversary of the Tiananmen Square Massacre. The demonstrators unveiled a goddess of democracy statue similar to the one that was crushed by the Chinese police in 1989. Meantime, in Beijing today, Chinese authorities shut down Tiananmen Square. China also shut down blogs and internet forums to stop online political discussions. Relatives of the victims who went to pay their respects at the cemetery were also monitored by security.
They want people to forget. They want people to just simply let it go. But the justice needs to be done.
Police also prevented foreign photographers from entering Tiananmen Square, saying a pass was required. An official death toll has never been given from the crackdown at Tiananmen, but some people put it in the thousands.
Thank you very much. 20 years ago tonight, a hail of bullets put an end to hopes for democracy in China. Thousands may have been killed when Chinese troops opened fire on demonstrators in Tiananmen Square. Tonight, those victims were remembered in a vigil at the Chinese consulate. The Los Angeles gathering was just one of many held around the world to commemorate the massacre. And while the fight for freedom inside China goes on.
We believe that demands they made are also unfulfilled. The pursuit of democracy, human rights, freedom of speech.
The pro-democracy movement is still alive in China and working to rally support in the United States and around the world.
Still to come right here.